Hi, good morning. Welcome to a new vlog. We're starting this vlog bright and early because today I'm going to attempt to go pumpkin picking. Yes, attempt is quite a negative word, but I've tried this before already this year, a few days ago, and it didn't really go to plan. So we're hoping that today will be the day that I can bring some pumpkins home. A few days ago we tried a new place and it didn't pan out. But we're going back to our trusted White House farm that has a little farm shop that we love and a cafe with classic British cozy food, as well as obviously the patch and cozy store as well on the side. But yeah, mostly we're there for the food and the pumpkins. So I'm excited to do that. I've made some coffee, but we are going to have breakfast/lunch there. Basically a brunch, I guess. I did want to talk to you about books. So during this vlog, I'm at the start of two books at the moment, The House Witch and Enchanted To Meet You by Cabot. The House Witch is a cozy fantasy about a house witch that has just been employed by King and Queen, and he's going to be the new royal cook. And from what I've heard so far, and I say heard because I'm listening to it as an audiobook, it seems to be quite a slow-paced story just about this house witch and his daily work. He wants to keep his magic quiet, so he's not really sharing it. He got everyone out of the kitchens, closed it off, so he's the only one that really is working in the kitchens. But they forced him to have a couple of assistants, which they are working outside in the kitchen gardens. Does feel like things are going to spiral and people are going to start discovering he's a witch, so we'll see how that goes. I'm really enjoying the characters and the slow-paced story. It's just very cozy and warming. And then obviously there's Enchanted To Meet You by Cabot, which is the start of a little witchy romance series. I mean, we've had a few come out in the last few years, and I guess the Queen of the Princess Diaries decided to come out with one as well. This story is about Jessica. In this world, everyone has a little bit of magic, and you just need to harness it to become a witch. There are different types of witches. Jessica, in this case, she got a grimoire from her mom, is an antiquary dealer. They gave Jessica a grimoire from a witch. They didn't really know it was a grimoire, but Jessica figured it out and she started using those spells as a teenager, and now as an adult she owns a clothes store and calls herself a cottage witch because all of the spells in this book are very directed towards the home. And she kind of uses these little spells while making clothing so she can bring a bit of happiness to all of her customers. But one day, a mysterious guy comes into her store and says that she's a chosen one and she needs to find the bringer of light to save her little town. And the deadline is Halloween. And she's like, how can I trust you? You're just a mysterious guy that walked into my shop. And the story goes on from there. I'm not disliking it. It's just, I feel like I've read this before. It's a bit like the other more contemporary witchy romances. It just feels like a romance, but the main characters are witches. I mean, it has all of the same trappings. It's not super creative or amazing. It's always they're trying to save their town in a witchy way. It's most of the time set in a small town. It feels a bit repetitive. I'm sorry to say that it just doesn't have as much atmosphere as I wanted it to have. When I'm reading a Halloween/autumnal book, especially romance, I want the author to describe all the pumpkins, all the falling leaves, the brisk wind, all of these small details to really set the scene, because the romance is just going to be a romance. So please give me atmosphere, give me witchiness, give me all the Halloween vibes. But yeah, I want to continue reading that, and I do feel like I've been babbling for a bit, so we should probably start getting ready to leave. Very excited about today. I have a new Lush pumpkin mask. So I'm thinking I'm gonna make this video pumpkin themed. What I've been doing recently, and it's something I really love to do at this time of year, is literally just adding some cinnamon to my coffee when I'm making it in the French press. Just a little autumnal tip in case you never thought to do that. And yeah, let's go, get ready to leave, and hopefully come home with some pumpkins. Oh, I'm so excited. Back home. Hi, welcome back home. I have changed into comfy clothes. It did all fail. But good news, we did bring, as you just saw, a few squashes home that they had in the little farm shop, and I didn't show you this because it was in our backpack and I forgot to take it out. We did get some of their local apple juice, White House Farm apple juice, made with medium/sweet Bramley and Cox apples, picked at White House Farm, Norfolk. Very excited to drink this, but we did also, as you just saw, got some teas, and I did try to make it really similar to what we drank in store today. I don't think it's exactly the same, but this tastes nice. So basically, after the fail at the pumpkin patch, we came back into the city and walked around for a bit, went to Waterstones and Bird Blend Tea and a couple other places to just try to save this little outing, and we did end up coming home with a few nice autumnal bits, so I am happy with that. Now that it's clearly the evening, I mean, I say the evening, but it's really not that late, it's 4:30. I think I'm gonna read for a bit and try and make a bit of a head start on these books. You know, I am excited for this cozy evening. We will try and go back because we learned they're going to be open next Saturday, so it's fine. It's just like 3-4 days away, so we're okay. We're going to try that same place again, and we'll get to have another breakfast/lunch on the Saturday, so that's going to be super cozy again, and hopefully that time we'll have pumpkins. I guess apart from this evening, I'll see you on Saturday. I am doing a reading marathon at the moment, and I am filming just a few clips here and there. So I'm trying not to do too complex vlogs plus doing that because it's just a bit too much. So you'll see everything else that I'm up to in the next few weeks. I guess. Probably in 2 different vlogs because I have filmed quite a bit already. We'll see each other on Saturday. Good morning, welcome to a few days later. It's now Saturday and we are attempting to go to the pumpkin patch again. It's still quite early today and we don't really have time to have coffee or breakfast or anything, so I'm just going to keep this short, get ready to leave so we can get there around 9 o'clock. So today the pumpkin patch will be opening at 9. I'm so excited, and I do think that 3rd time's the charm. So let's keep the positive vibes going, and yeah, hopefully I'll be able to come back home with actual pumpkins today. So let's just pack up our stuff and go. Not even going to do any reading updates or anything right now. I'll save that for later on. I have been reading though, and I do have thoughts I want to share, but we'll keep them for later. I'm really excited to finally get some pumpkins and get into decorating. Let's go. Welcome to the evening. I just had a little bit of a pamper evening. I made a tea, put a mask on, and then I put myself together a bit more, especially my earrings, so I can do a puzzle this evening and film right now. And changed into my cozy clothes. And so this evening we shall finish this puzzle, or at least continue a bit more, and make some food and have some nice indulgent dinner. I'm going to continue listening to my audiobook while I do the puzzle. I'm really enjoying the dynamics between the characters. There's the prince that comes in every once in a while, and it's just so lovely to see him interact with Finn, our main character. You also have a little bit of a romance going on in the background. I'm not sure if it's going to come to a head in this book, or if we're going to get a start on a war this book and the romance will be resolved in the next one. But those are two things that are kind of simmering in the background, and I'm not sure what's actually going to come to a culmination in this book. But yeah, the relationships are just lovely, and seeing the day-to-day lives of this cook, literally just working in his kitchen and making nice food, but then there's always shenanigans, and now that people know about his magic, not everyone, a little group of select few. There's a bit of commentary about that specific thing. There's also a bit of a rivalry with the mages that work for the king and queen and our main character, because he's a witch. Witches are born with magic, while mages have to study for years and years on end to do magic. But actually, the witch's magic is a lot of the time much more powerful than the mage's magic. But mages don't really know that because witches hide themselves away, don't really interact with them. It's been very cozy and just a lovely read. So I'm excited to continue, hopefully finish when I'm working on this puzzle. I'm gonna go now and actually get into this cozy evening because I had a little bit of a pamper and now I'm gonna get into the cozy evening. I guess that's all I have to tell you. Start on my cozy evening and I'll see you later. Hi, welcome to the end of this vlog. I'm so happy with all my pumpkins. How they look on the shelf. Every time I look at them, they just bring me that spark of happiness. And the orange contrasts with the beiges of the books and of the bookshelf. So cozy and lovely. I am now going to go through what I thought of the books that I read during this last week. I read 2 good books, finally managed to get my pumpkins, and now feel super inspired to read even more. So I read Enchanted To Meet You by Cabot and also House Witch by this person I'm gonna leave on screen because I don't want to mispronounce that. I had a really nice time reading these books. They were exactly what I wanted at this time of year, kind of light-hearted, but very heartwarming and cozy. There's a little bit of romance, but also a little bit of adventure. Both were very witchy. I personally thought they were perfect. I did prefer House Witch to Enchanted To Meet You. Enchanted To Meet You felt like a normal romance, but with a witchy twist. It had a lot of classic romantic tropes. So I love fantasy with romance. But romance with a little bit of fantasy is getting a little bit boring because it then falls into the same problems that the romance genre has, which is the repetition, the fact that the stories follow the same romantic arc every time. There's always that trouble before the happy ending. A lot of the times feels very quick, like they met and then they're in love or in lust and then they're in love and then there's a problem and then it's the end of the book. That a few of these witchy, a little bit fantastical romance books were a little bit better sometimes. I've read 2 recently, one being My Roommate is a Vampire and Enchanted To Meet You, and both were a little bit of a disappointment. I did still enjoy them, but if you want to read them, make sure that you know that it's just going to be a romance with a little bit of fantasy. I really loved The House Witch. It was just a very slow story. It's quite a big book. I think it's at least 400 pages, maybe up to 500. I'm not sure exactly. It follows this male witch that just moved into a castle and he's just a lowly cook and he's trying to not be discovered as a witch. Obviously that fails pretty quickly, but then you follow along as as the relationships of all these people in the castle develop. Clearly the start of a series, a long series that's quite slow paced and very much about their lives, but also has a little bit of adventure because there's definitely a war looming in the horizon, and you have some characters that are grappling with tougher decisions. And it also mentions some heavier topics like bullying and that sort of thing, but it's still just a slow, heartwarming story, a little bit of a look into these people's lives from the moment that this witch moves into this castle. I really loved it. I would say Enchanted to Meet You gets definitely 3 stars, and House Witch gets around 4 stars, probably like 3.75. So yeah, both books I liked to read. One I loved and I want to continue this series. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you for coming along with me on my hunt for some pumpkins. I hope this video is not going up too late because I've been filming so much recently that I haven't had that much time to edit. And I know I've missed a few Fridays here and there. And I really hope this content is not going to melt into like holiday content coming up. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's not coming out too late and you'll still be happy to get some pumpkin content. I really hope you enjoyed this video and hopefully we'll see each other next time. Bye!